right, so let's get started here. All right, situated. All right, we're good to go. Welcome back to day 15 of 60 Days to Automate. And today we're going to be talking about automating your newsletter. By the end of this session, you'll know how to track your blogs and social media posts and be able to gather this data really efficiently. And I'm going to give you tools on how to create an interactive newsletter with a custom sidekick at the end. We're going to show you how you can take all that content and repurpose it along the way so you can get in the habit of a newsletter. All this week, we've really been focused on what we can do with content and marketing. So we talked about persona-based content strategies. We talked about how to write blog posts using AI. We talked about how we can automate your social media captions, and we gave a master class yesterday in AI and image generation. And today we're going to bring it all together and see how we can both use these tools and create and start to track our efforts so that we can create a weekly newsletter. So our goals today is we're going to set up our Airtable so that we can do content tracking. It's really important to start to track your content, what keywords you're targeting, the analytics, how it's doing on social for organic, because those are the pieces of content that then you'll want to put paid ads towards. You'll also want to analyze that content to see why did that work well. So tracking your content is going to be paramount to a successful content marketing campaign. I know there's a lot of tools out there, a lot of content management systems like that, but for the purposes of this, we're going to be using our Airtable to just show you a basic version. Then we're going to be setting up the data flows with N8N. So, once you have started collecting and tracking all of that in Airtable, what we're going to do is set up a connection between N8N and the N8N and AnswerAI with a document store so that we always have the most up-to-date information about the past week's data so that we can just ask our sidekick, which we'll be creating today, help me start with the this week's newsletter. So once again, helping you to start on third base without you having to copy and paste and go, oh, what worked well this week? You have it right there at your fingertips. So why even have a newsletter? I know you may be thinking, especially if you're younger, email is pointless, right? It's full of spam. Unfortunately, it's still the best way that you can have a direct communication and direct connection with your audience. So if you're a content creator, especially if you've built your brand off of Meta or Twitter or any of these platforms, they own that customer's data. So you don't have a direct connection. Your connection to that audience is really dependent on the whims of the platform, how well it does, how well it's managed in the future. These are all things that can affect your business. So you need to have a direct connection to your audience so that you're not beholden to the platforms if things change. And this just kind of goes into the ownership of the audience. You want to own your audience. You don't want to be beholden to the platforms. You don't want to be beholden to any other email lists or anything like that. You want to be able to start collecting these emails because like I said, it's still, you're going to get higher engagement. You're going to be able to have, if you have new ideas, now that you're capturing that attention through your social channels, if you're a creator, or if you're getting traction because maybe your latest product went viral, or you're just trying to get your story out there and tell your story, you need an email list. And they're still one of the best ways to retain and attract an audience. And there are tons of platforms out there that can help you to manage your lists and to, and some of them even have AI tools. But the problem is that they kind of really don't have, or they're not connected to your other pieces in a lot of ways. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So this is less about, any particular newsletter platform because they all have their pros and their cons. I'm actually going to be going through this process myself. to determine it. So pay attention to that video. So today we're going to go through, and the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to set up our Airtable for content management. The reason of doing this is we want to have a central hub for tracking all of our content, just like we created that central hub for the documents that we have. This is going to allow us to have a central hub for all of our content, both social and blogs. And you can add on to this as well. For instance, newsletter is a piece of content that you're putting out. We're going to organize the blogs and the social media posts. We're going to put them into tables, because once you start putting these posts in there, one of the things you want to start doing as well, which you will learn in the following week, next week we're going to be talking about sales. But right after that, we're going to be discussing how you can hook up your analytics so that you can start to analyze what's working well and maybe highlight your best posts in your newsletters. So it's more of an incentive to curate all of the different content that you're going to be pushing out for those users. A lot of people get like, well, are they going to see the same thing over again? A lot of us see lots of things many times over. It'll be okay. So, and then this just kind of goes into our first level of content repurposing. So in 26 through 30, we're going to be talking all about content repurposing and how you can, turn podcasts and other pieces of content into reels, because the name of the game right now is content, and you don't want it to be cookie cutter with AI, but you can use AI in your production of it to really repurpose your story in many different ways. And this is just the first way, using newsletters. So let's jump on in. So we're going to go into our Airtable for Travel Smart AI, and we're going to essentially, we have our tasks, we have our customers, we have those documents, we have our customer personas. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create, let's go here to, I'm going to say add table, start from scratch. And here I'm going to say blogs. Each one, let's say I should call it so here you can say, what do you want to call it? And we're just going to say an article. It's just for their interfaces, which we haven't really gotten into, but just like, what do you call this piece? So we're going to do one for blogs, and we're also going to do a table for social media. I think they do have one for posts. So let's go over to blogs. So some of the things that we'll want to track in our blogs are the title. We'll want to track, so in our blog writing, we can do things like storing our outline. So we're going to store our outline. And if you have a team, you may want to have a signee. It's just me right now, so I'm going to go ahead and delete this field. We're going to say a status, and we're going to say on this, say to do, in progress, and posted. That way we have a simple status board. And then I'm going to add a couple of other fields here. I'm going to add Google Drive URL. So this is going to give me the URL of Google Drive. So we can go here and just choose URL. So we have the title, the outline, the status, and the Google Drive URL. Now there's other things that we could put in here. So for instance, the full body, if we wanted to, we could add lots of different pieces. Actually, I'm going to do that. I'm going to add the full body in here just so it's ready for us. And to be honest, this is kind of really gone into my own workflow, where I'll go in and I'll just kind of edit it, and then I'll send it off for images like that, which you'll learn in future, but kind of just get at least first draft done just here in Airtable. But a lot of people like Google Docs as well, especially if you're collaborating. That's a lot better. All right, so we're going to say full body, and we're going to say long text and create. So they do have this ability to do like rich text, which I'm going to go ahead and do here. All right. So then the other things you could have too are, for instance, maybe you want to have the public URL, which we have not posted these online. What we'll do is we'll just create some fake URLs for this. Oh, what happened there? And I'm going to say create field. All right. So I have a few things that I can actually use in the title and the outline and the status. I could also add, for instance, here the persona that it is attached to. by simply just clicking on the plus up here and then link to another table. And we're going to say customer personas. So here, create a field, allow linking to multiple records. Yeah, we can hit link to multiple records, and we're just going to say customer persona. And we're just going to have the name added. So what this is going to do is, which actually I don't think we need this. Let's just remove that field. Okay, we have customer persona here, and that's so that when we have these, we can say, hey, was this for the young budget-friendly traveler or the executive travel booker? You know, which of our 3 customer personas that we created in day 11 is this blog targeted toward, or is it multiple? You know, generalized. All right, so we have those. So then we're going to go over to social media, and we're going to do the same thing. So here, what I typically like to do with social media is add the post or kind of like to speak, or just like some little brief, like a blog about this or a tweet about this blog post, something like that. So I'm just going to say short summary. And here I'm just going to add the, let's say, oh yeah, post. So this is where we're going to actually have the text, the post. So in here, I'm going to, once again, it's just me. I'm going to delete the assignee. For status, we're going to have to do, in progress, and posted. And I'm going to add to the blog as well, which is posted date, which we're going to do here, just so that I know when, what day it was posted, so that we can just get the most recent. So let me add that to the blogs as well. Posted date and date field. All right, so we have this. We could also do this. We can also link it to the persona. So link here, customer personas, and create field. So short summary, that's kind of like how we look at it. The post, the posted date, the status, the persona. We could also add things here, which were, for instance, the image that we did from that we may have used. So let's go ahead and add that. Where is it? Attachment. And we'll go ahead and, yes, we can do multiple there. So if we had multiple images for like a carousel, something like that, we can put them in there. All right, so we have the images, the persona. Let's move this over. The status, the posted date, the post, and some short summary. Then for blogs, we have the title, the outline, the status, the link to the Google Drive URL, the full body of the text, and the public URL, and the customer persona, and the posted date. All right, so how are we going to populate this? Well, one of the things that we can do is add to our sidekicks that we created from previous days is the ability to add the content in here. But we're going to go into our N8N. So let's go into N8N. What we're going to do is we're going to go into the automation that we had from day 9. So if you remember, we created this automation that will search a particular folder. In this case, we had this Microsoft Dropbox folder that we were using. It then downloaded the file, and then it will extract the file data. And then we're using a basic LLM chain to analyze the document and to store a short one paragraph summary of its contents. So I put a couple of transcripts in there so that we could then see our documents, which then shows a couple of transcripts from prior days, for instance, day 2 and 3, and then it created a tag cloud. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually take this same one, and we're going to copy this, and we're going to create a brand new one. So I'm just going to copy over this and hit Command-C. As you can see here, it says it's been copied. So now what I can do is save this, go in here, and and you could add it to this workflow as well too, but I'm just going to keep in mind by the days that we use them. So this one I'm going to call day 15, newsletter duration. All right, so our first step is we're just going to trigger this one manually just so that we can just test it for right now. Actually, we're going to just delete that and we're going to paste in, so Command V or Control V if you're using it. So now we have this directly here. So we're just going to have to change a couple things. We're just going to have to go into, and we're going to go into our drive. And you could do this if you're using, instead of Google Drive, you're using OneDrive, you could use labels or I think folders in there. Same concept as we went over. They're pretty similar on how you work with documents. So here we started a Travel Smart AI and we created this blogs folder, and we have a blog in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up an automation to automatically track these blogs and put them into the into Airtable. All right, so we're going to go in here, and all we have to do is in this node that for the searching, for search for a file, we come down here and we're going to just choose from our list, and we're going to choose blogs. So we can test our step, and as you can see here, we have our traveling to Thailand as a business executive. Gives us the ID and all the information that we need. And that's really it on this. So we can actually, well, no, we can have it summarize the blog and create keywords, which let's do that. Let's actually update this to summarize it and create. We'll just have it summarize it, keep it so it's tracking it. And we'll put that in here. So we have a title, the outline, which we should probably update our other blog writing one to push these in from our last one instead of into the document. So the status, the Google Drive URL that it's located, the full body of the documents, and then we're not going to be posting the public URL. We're just going to make up some for this. And then we'll go ahead and put in our customer persona as well for it. So here we go. We just need to open up this. And on this, we're going to change this from documents to blogs. And we do want to match, we're going to match on the doc URL. So what we have here is not, I don't know why it didn't change the columns. Let me just refresh column list. Here we go. So if you need to refresh your column list, if it didn't update like that, so there's 3 dots over here on the right for refresh column list, or you can remove them all as well. So we have the doc URL, so we have the ID, which, you know what, I'm going to move the Google Drive URL to be the primary key here. I'm going to do that so that it matches on it. I guess I technically could do that, but let's just refresh that list again. We don't need this ID. Oh, Google Drive URL. All right. And to be able to test this, all we need to do is to then say test workflow. So we have our one blog, it's getting it. Now it's kind of summarizing it, going to create a summary of it. Looks like there was a problem with it. Failed to parse. Oh, okay. So this, when you get this, it means that the JSON that it's returning, it didn't actually do it. You'll get this with automation sometimes. Let's just check this, see if this setting was set. It was not. So response format. So this is very important. We forgot to set this one on. So the response format should be JSON on this one, so that it actually always returns JSON for that. So let's just update that and test that workflow. All right. So we have an error here, but that's to be expected, but everything else came through. So let's just open this up. As you can see, we now have the outputs of what we did. So now we just come in here and we just drag them on over. So we take it from our first Google Drive where we search for it. We're going to put that web view link right there. Then we're going to open up the name. So for the title. So here we go, the name, the title. We're going to do anything for outline right now. Here we're going to put we're going to put this as posted. Actually, we're not going to do anything with status right now. We are going to take the full body. So let's go ahead and take this and we're going to put the data in here. So as we're extracting the data from the file, we're putting it in there. The public URL, we're not having a public URL right now, and customer persona we don't need. So we'll delete these. We don't need posted date. We're going to do that on the calendar. So really what we need here is the title. And we're going to add the summary and the keywords from the AI output, which I'm going to add. We're going to add keywords and summary. And we're going to go back over to here, refresh our page, or not the page. We're going to refresh the column list. All right. Now we have keywords and summary in here as well. We're not needing the outline, so let's now just take the summary, drag that over, keywords, drag that over. This one's actually searching for the knowledge base, so we can actually update this prompt, which I'm going to do right here. Which analyze this document to create a short warbring of its contents. Also create a comma-separated tag cloud that could be used for searching, finding, or analyzing the contents of the document. Yeah, let's just keep here because we want something that has a lot of keywords and things like that for our future AI agents to be able to parse this. So, all right. So now I'm going to test this workflow. All right. We now have our blogs that are being tracked in here. So now as we write them and as we put new blogs into here from our other Sidekick, we're ready to use these and put them into our workflow. They're here, they're being tracked so that we can start to get we can put in, oh, this one's for the travel executive booker. We can also have it automatically do that as well in the future, which I'll show you in the advanced marketing. And we have a basic area here for the full body, the customer persona, and then we have a bunch of keywords here for our AI bots. And then we have a summary. This document serves as a comprehensive guide for executives traveling to Thailand. All right. So we have one blog post. Let's create a couple more. And to do that, we're going to use our Sidekick. So we have our blog writer Sidekick. So I want to write blog about family travel to Brazil. Let's see how this is going. All right, so family adventures in Brazil, a complete guide. And if you remember, these all have what Travel Smart AI is doing, what it's trying to do, and everything with that. So now this looks great. Looks like cut off. Great. Send to great document. So now it should be, oh, I bet you I know why. So let's go in and let's edit this. Let's go to this Sidekick. So let's just make sure that we remember what this Sidekick is doing. Conversation chain. So now if you remember, we can go to our chief Sidekick here, because if you remember, he has this create blog tool, which will go in and get the title, the persona, and the summary, and it's going to then post this. Oh, it looks like it's going to its testing. Let's make sure it's going to its production, and then it does this, which is inactive. Then it calls this workflow, which then goes through and will call our blog outline writer. It will then call our blog writer. It will get our idea generator. So this is where you can start to chain them around. All right, we're going to go in here to our chief Sidekick, and we're going to just click on the help me write a blog action that we set up in one of the future days. It says, hey, what's the title of the blog post? A general summary of like what you want to cover and the target audience. So let's say, traveling with family, top 10 things to remember. All right, here we go. The process to create a blog post on traveling to Brazil with a family has been initiated. The outline will present a comprehensive. So if you remember, we go over here at executions. This is now running. And if we go over to our blogs, we now see our traveling to Brazil with the family top 10 things to remember. And if we open this up, we have the outline that it created. We have the key research and all of this information as well. So great. So we have this one. Let's create another one. We write a blog. let's just say surfing in Baja with at night for the young adventure. Use tools. As I mentioned, we can prompt this out of it. Surfing in Baja, start by creating the outline. And basically it said that it started that process. So if we go over here, we see the next one coming through and see another one. So now we can start, looking, we see these different items here. All right. Now that we have some content in our blogs, let's get some content in our social media. So I'm going to switch over to my social media sidekick, and I'm going to start a new one. I'm going to say, create a post about family travel to Europe in the summer. Before proceeding, I will analyze the request. All right, so looks like it went through. It's going to create a Twitter post. Cool, to create the recommended content. Create an Instagram post instead. All right, so our social media sidekick, let's go take a look at him, is not acting very well. Let's take a look at the instructions here. So if you remember, what we did is we created all these different chats or these prompts for creating the different types. And then we have this tool agent, which have these instructions for it. Remove this. Anthropic puts these in here for how it does it, but we don't do it that way. And it looks like crap when you put it in that way. So we're going to go ahead and change this. All right, let's see what that looks like. Since I made some changes in here. All right, so create a post about on Instagram about travel to Europe in the summer. All right, so now we have this post. So it kind of put all of them in the front, so we can use that to get that out of there. So we'll definitely need to add prompting there, but here we go. Making memories in Europe that will last a lifetime. Now I can go in here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to use this and go over and copy and paste it into here. So here, I'll put in maybe even for the short summary, Instagram post travel to Europe. What I'm going to do is I'm going to also go into Midjourney from yesterday. I'm just going to put in a family trip to in the summer. It's going to be in a little bit larger because I was playing around with it for some thumbnails. But all right, here we go. We have a picture. Copy this image, and we're going to put it to here, and we just paste that right in here. Great. We now have the image for what we'd post on there. We'd say this is for the traveler. Let's say this is posted and this was posted on, let's say on, and then for this blog post, we're going to say that this was posted and the posted date is, all right. Now that we have this information and we have the blogs, we have the social media, we're now starting to track it in here. And I would probably also hook up, and we'll see in the advanced marketing how we can get the social media posts in there. I really suggest kind of, doing it yourself to begin with before you start automating anything. Let AI kind of just brainstorm and get the but we'll talk about how we can get these automatically into Airtable as well in one of the future episodes. All right, so now that we've done that, what we want to do is we want to set up a document store in AnswerAI so that our chief sidekick always has access to the latest information for a newsletter. So what we're going to do here is go into N8N, and we're going to go into our newsletter curation one, and we're going to create a new webhook that we can call this from AnswerAI. We're going to just to be a get, because we're just getting information from there. We're not actually posting any information. This is just going to be received. we're going to take this production, or let's say our test URL here, and we're going to go into AnswerAI, and we're going to go into our document stores. And here I'm going to start a new document store for our blogs, and I'm going to create a new one for social media. All right. So we have one for blogs, one for social media, and we're going to keep them separated because, you know, way we're going to do our newsletter for this, we're going to have a blog at the top and maybe a post. You know, what's your top post, so that you can create personalized, and because they're per persona, what you can do is you can say, hey, this you know, blog or travelers is going to go to my family list, email list, and then my popular, you know, adventure travelers list get a different blog. So we're going to go here into blogs, and we're going to add a document loader, and we're going to choose our Airtable description here. And then we're going to paste in. Unfortunately, we don't have drag and drop right now, so we do have to paste them in here. I'm going to go back over here. If you remember, this is the APP in the URL right up here. This is for the base ID. Then you have the table, which is the next piece, which starts with TBL. And then you have the view, which is VIW. So here I can just go in, and this is the, this social media. We want the blogs one, so let's change that. All right, we're going to preview this. What does it say? All right. Had to go and update some credentials real quick. All right, so we now have our blogs in here with the different summaries for that. And I'm going to go ahead and process this one. And then we're going to go ahead and, now that we have the new blogs in there, let's run our, well, first off, let's go in here. All right, let's save. And we now have, all right, we have the blogs in there, and then social media. Here, Airtable, connect. We're going to choose our base ID. We're going to do the social media post this time. Here we go. I don't know why. All right, now we have our social media posts in there. All right, so now we have two document stores. We have one with our social media, one with our blogs, and this will now store these in there for our future newsletter sidekick. Because when new content comes in to Airtable, you just have to come in here and refresh this. Okay, now that we have our two document stores here, what we're going to do is we're going to go back over, and we're going to create a new, all right, now that we have all of our data connection working between N8N and storing the blogs in there, and that, you know, AnswerAI grabbing the information that's been stored in Airtable. Our next thing is creating the sidekick. So we're going to be creating a sidekick that will create a newsletter based off of your past blogs, and then also help you, you know, optimize your content strategy a little bit better with this. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a newsletter sidekick. And we're going to use the blog writer sidekick as the starter. So I'm just going to duplicate this one, and I'll show you how easy this is. So here we have our customer personas. I'm going to leave that. I'm just going to add a couple of more here. I'm going to add our blogs, and then I'm also going to add our social media. So now we're giving this this conversation chain access to more newsletter stuff. I'll call this the news sidekick. All right, so we have our newsletter sidekick here, and essentially we have we just need to go in, and we're using Anthropic still this week. And let's go ahead and save this. Now what we're going to want to do is update this template. And to do this, we can just simply just go in here. And I just use AI. So I'll either go into, let's just go over and go to generate prompt. So write a newsletter based on as 3 sections. One that has a blog post, summary, and call to action. One that highlights a social post, and 3 tips for each persona. You are given the personas, the week's past blogs, and past social media posts. We're going to generate this, and while we're doing this, I'm going to go over, and while that's generated, I'm going to create a view in each of these. I'm going to change what we just did with our document store. And by here, I'm going to go here and just say past weeks posts, because as you start to add new posts, you're going to have a lot more. So this is kind of like all of your posts. So let's just rename this to all posts. And we're going to say past week posts. And here I'm just going to filter down. I'm going to say add condition where posted date is after 1 week ago. Yeah. So basically from 1 week ago, it has to be after that. So the past week. So here we have, it shows up. It's our only post. If we had another post in here, so for instance, if we had a tweet about business travel, some cool tweet, and this posted date was say on Halloween, it still does not show up here. So we're going to go and we're going to choose this, and we're going to update our document store here. And we're going to go to social media, and we're going to do preview process, and we're going to swap out this. So here we have, did I go in the wrong one? Nope, I am. We have our new view. The table's right. All right. So now it will just get the last week's each time because as new ones fall off, it'll only be what's actually in that view. So I'm going to do the same thing over here for the blogs. So to do that, we go over to blogs. We're going to add a new one called past weeks. Change this to all blogs. And for the past weeks, we're going to post a date. This one is filter where posted date after 1 week ago. All right. And for this, we're going to add this preview process. All right. So now we have it set up in the right views. That way it doesn't get all the blogs. All right. So let's look over at our new prompt. All right. So we now have the personas, the past blogs, the social media posts, all this good stuff, blog post summary. And this is where you can really just, have it in your style, your ways. You would just give it, update this outline pretty much. The tips. I'm going to update this. I'm going to say format your newsletter in Markdown just so it has a good, like I said, I don't like these different areas. So I think I could leave this here and just say, hey, I want it back as Markdown, but we'll see. All right. But it is good to always give an example. We're going to replace this. So now we have personas that we're going to need to create, which is going to connect to our persona, our past blogs to our past blogs, and our social media posts to our social media posts. Now we save this. And what we're going to do is we're just going to say input or user's request. All right. So now that we've created these variables, so we have personas, past blogs, and social media posts. Now we need to add those in here. So let's remove. We have personas, which is actually the first one. You know that past blog. Let's take a look. Past blogs, social media posts. Here we go. Blogs is document store 1, and social media is document store 2. Media's post, document store 2, and past blogs. It's going to be all right. So now we have defined our variables in here. We now have this. Now we can test it. So I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to add, we need to add our user request one. We forgot about that. So here we're going to go user request is going to be the question that the user asks. All right. So now I'm just going to say, write my newsletter. And there we got it. It's creating a newsletter that kind of takes some of the content that we've already written that's been stored in Airtable so that you can actually start to use this as a starting point for your blogs. And we'll go over how to format these, how to go over all these different things. I think, the reason it's all doing that, let's just get rid of that. Here we go. We're going to get rid of this. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just open up my chief sidekick here. I'm going to say convert this to Markdown. All right. Look at that. That's how I want it to be displayed. Yeah, because this is going to make it look a lot better in the chatbot instead of these here. This is really just dependent on, and we're going to add our own. Now if I go into AnswerAI, Newsletter Sidekick, and I now give it a starter prompt of create my newsletter, save that. And if I go in here and I ask my newsletter sidekick, where is it? There we are. Create my newsletter. Now I can use this, as a starting point to then use the content that I've already created to just click a button and start my newsletter. Really, really helpful. Then if I wanted to, personalize this to the different personas, that's why I had it write out the 3 different tips. Because maybe I want to put this in 3 different types of newsletters to those 3 different types of personas. And we'll learn a little bit more about that in the advanced marketing section. So yeah, that's it. We've created a newsletter sidekick that enables you to use your past content as source material for your newsletter. And we only had a few blogs and a few social media posts, but as you start to post more and as you start to have your newsletters and start to track your content in Airtable, you'll be able to not just repurpose it for newsletters, but as you'll see in 26 to 30, those days we'll be talking about how to create in all different types of content. So next week, or in the next 5 days, we have sales automations coming up. So next week, we're going to be talking about how to really come to your next meetings prepared, where you have sidekicks going out, looking at your calendar and preparing a little research and notes before your meeting. We're going to talk about how you can hook it into your sales data management and kind of CRMs. How you can kind of keep track of it, make sure that your customers or your prospects aren't falling behind. We'll be using Airtable for that, for basics. And then we'll also talk about how to create great engaging outbound sales email sequences using AI. We'll also talk about how you can create personalized sales proposals where you can take the transcript of your last meeting and turn that into a sales proposal based off of your unique value selling propositions. And then, of course, how do you get better? How can you use AI to improve your pitches, improve your sales techniques to ensure that you're always getting better? So now that we've, created all the content, we're going to have inbound sales. So now you need to know how to close those deals and how to come prepared. So really appreciate everyone who joined me. If you find this content valuable, please share it. Really helps out. So, and all of these automations are available at digitalatscale.com. Thank you.